mission. Here's what I hear about my mission. Okay, so funny. When Father Mike first came here, I thought I was just asking permission of him to host a couple of information nights. I thought if we talk about this, people don't know enough about foster care. If we just talk about it, I'll bring in some speakers, have some people come, and maybe someone will foster. Well, I didn't know what the Holy Spirit had in store for us. But the Holy Spirit kept saying, and you can do this, and you can do that, and you can do this. And with all this support at our amazing parish, this has grown beyond anything that I could have ever dreamed of. And you'll hear from several people who are involved and how each person doing a piece has made this what it is. So our mission is to be the hands and feet of Christ by meeting material needs and supporting foster families, teens, and single moms with faith-filled friendship. We engage parishioners in prayer, donating and delivering goods, befriending foster families, and aging out youth and young mothers. This is also part of the Archdiocesan task force that started about 2019, and there are several parishes, about 5 now, that have some sort of a foster care ministry. Ours, I will say, encompasses, I think, the most. And we have recently, in the last year, wrapped in Walking with Moms, which is another national Catholic program. But because we're right here next to Two Lines Pregnancy Center, and we're already reaching out to the community, providing goods, and meeting people face to face, and extending friendship, we thought, really, it's what we're already doing. Let's bring the moms in. So that's why you might be a little confused that last week we talked about Walking with Moms. This week we're talking about foster care, but it really is the same group. And I will say that several of our committee are right here. Liz Hagan was one of the first people on the committee. Kathy Anderson, I think, is here. She was with us from the very beginning. Ellen Brown is here, Emily Erkman, Monica Andrioli. If I'm forgetting anybody, wave at me. But, we've got a good core committee that really analyzes everything, plans everything, and then we have a response team, which is kind of a second tier that actually helps us every week delivering items and such. So first, I just want to go back and explain that there is a huge foster care crisis. There's 500,000 kids in the United States in foster care. In Kansas, over 8,000. Right here in Johnson County, over 500. And each one of these numbers has a heart, a soul, and a name. How did they get in foster care? Well, I'll tell you, it's not as easy as you would think. Sometimes, so there's calls made, and then there's an investigation by Division of Family Services. Sometimes the same family is called in for suspected abuse or neglect 20, 30, 60 times before there's an investigation. Never hesitate to call if you suspect abuse or neglect, because I can almost guarantee you it's not going to be your call that's going to get a child removed. I mean, it's going to go in the file. First thing that the investigator will do is say, can this family be preserved? And they might be able to give them some family preservation services. They might even assign them a caseworker that'll check in on them periodically. If that doesn't work, it might escalate to removing the kids from the home. The other way that they come into care is if the police are called for, say, an example would be in a domestic violence situation. The police show up and they find that the children are in terrible living conditions or unsafe or obviously abused or neglected. They will come into care right then. And then it's determined whether they have any kinship, they have any family that might be able to take them. And then they go to non-kinship, so they may not have family that's able to, but then is there a teacher? Is there a neighbor? Is there somebody who knows this child? If no kinship and no non-related kinship, then licensed foster care family is located. And I told you a little bit about how people become licensed.